G'day, I'm Steve Lanchester and welcome to Full Bore. On this episode, we're up here in the Glasshouse Mountains to see if we can get ourselves into a spot of trouble. What do you reckon, Davo?
I think we're already in a spot of trouble.
Let's get cracking. The Glasshouse Mountains is probably one of the better four-wheel drive locations this side of Coffs Harbour. And of course, we're out here to tackle some of those more iconic tracks to see what the fuss is all about. Along for the ride on this trip, we've got good old matey Greg, and of course he's bringing along his 105 series Toyota Land Cruiser with a 18Z with a snail whacked on the side. Next in the lineup is Davo the Mechanical Wizard, and he's bringing along his double diff-locked Toyota Land Cruiser Bandera. And the secret weapon in this bad boy is it's got a Ecotec engine out of a Commodore in it. So that means that when he puts his right foot down, it actually does something. And that coupled with twin diff locks, this thing's flaming unbeatable. But hey, that's only if it can keep all these four wheels on the ground. Last but not least is the Canyonero, the 1986 Toyota Land Cruiser that I rebuilt in a couple previous episodes. So the first track that we're tackling is the mighty Power Lines track, and we're heading north from the Big Red car park to see if we can find ourselves a few nice little sticky puddles and a few cracking little challenges. And about 5 minutes from the car park, we come across our first challenge. A nice little mud hole, which seems a little bit inconspicuous, but it's the perfect size to swallow a short wheelbase. We'll see how we go. Okay, so with those nice fresh wheel bearings bedded in, it was time to see if we can find ourselves a few more challenges.
Just
That's natural
my family's already dropped, eh?
Has it?
Yeah. Alright then.
Oh, I gotta say that flex is hard for a car that's pretty standard.
Actually, that's pretty good. Right from there. That couldn't have gone any better.
On you, Greg, that was a cracking drive, but it's time to see what Davo's got up his sleeve, and I tell you what, he's generally the sort of person who picks the line less travelled. Bit of an unconventional approach from Davo, but hey, it makes for good footage.
Oh wow, this fuel tank's in a bad spot.
That'd be hard to love it,
That's it.
Oh, yeah, you made all the difference there.
You want to know? Oh, my bad. Sorry, mate.
What are you spilling about?
That the nuts aren't salted.
Oh, damn. I'll have some of those bad boys. Oh, yeah, it's disappointing when they don't have salt on them, eh?
If they're coming
Go
back.
buy your own salted cashews, alright, everyone?
That's deep, isn't it? Wow, you're just stuck.
You like me to winch you?
I reckon he's stuck.
You like a winch? Right then.
So one of the fun things about owning an Ecotech is of course that they're a fuel injected motor with a crank angle sensor right behind the harmonic balancer. And of course when you're smashing through mud puddles, generally you can get a whole bunch of trash built up in there and then potentially your crank angle sensor will stop working. So when Davo drove into this puddle and his motor turned off out of nowhere, that was our first suspicion.
Wrap yourself in the blanket. Well, upside down.
It's actually not a bad idea.
Oh no, there you go, you're nice and warm there, Bubby.
Having fun there, Davo?
Why does me air conditioning sound all rumbly now?
It's got nothing to do with two Cape York trips.
I need your that WD.
It's just there, I think.
Oh wow, the zoom on this thing's amazing. Look at that fresh boy on all this poop.
What car?
Yep.
I single-handedly fixed this car.
Okay.
That's not good.
That makes me extremely sad.
Maybe even more.
Everyone's about to cry.
Wait, you sure you don't want to just try it again?
Oh, you don't let off pressure back in.
Sure you don't want to try it again?
No, it would have started by now if it was doing good.
Maybe it just needs a minute
No.
to adjust from the motor.
Think good vibes.
Just wait, let me pick up a spanner so it looks like I'm working.
Go for it.
Fingers out.
Yeah. You know what should have given it off as well was the fact that the fuel pump didn't go bzzz.
So after $200 spent at the local auto parts store, and with about 2 hours down the drain just trying to get the harmonic balancer off it, it turned out to be a fuse.
That's cute. Why you always buy a link.
Just goes to show that bush mechanics isn't always a fine science. Oh, there's your problem. The fuel flap's open. I reckon I'm just going to commit. Just peg up through there. What's the worst that can go wrong?
Why don't you just pick that?
Like, what, this?
Yeah.
Oh, you can give it a crack, bro.
That looks very neat. You got that on camera.
Not gonna lie, if I fell in that, I would bloody hell.
I may have cooked myself a little. Play with winches, mate. How's this that? Film it.
Not very deep, am I?
Am I going to regret this or not? Man, the lockers make a difference, don't they? That was good fun. I'm just gonna pull him through with my enormous strength.
That's sticks.
Excess water hit the fan. Sometimes bog holes can be a bit misleading, and I tell you what, this one didn't actually look too bad on first inspection. Drove straight in, buska, right up to the axles. But hey, that's why you buy a winch, because if your car can't get you there, your winch generally can. So with me carpets now sufficiently dank, it was time to keep cruising. And this time we were heading north from the most southerly part of the power lines track. Our main aim being to find Little Red to see if we could get Davo to break his Bundy. So because the Canyonero is actually running 2-inch lifted shocks, in conjunction with standard coils, there is the potential for the coil to actually fall out because it overextends beyond the reach of the coil itself. On this occasion, of course, I copped a whole bunch of flex and it just popped straight out.
The tree. Yeah. Just take foot off the brake.
Go forward.
Oh, no, well, that work.
He's going to pull that tray on top of him.
Yeah.
Snap crack. This feels like full Russell Coit thing. Like
Yeah, right. The whole front end's off the ground.
Is it? Sick. Okay. Wasn't there an old movie years ago? Something like, was it something with the guys? The guys must be crazy.
Guys must be
His
crazy.
Winches Land Rover up the tree like that. Down.
What did you say?
I've always thought about doing that.
Clear up here. Little bump out.
Yeah, that's right, we all got to come through here, so. Oh, we ain't helping you, David.
Stop, I'm dropping the bull.
You're tired.
He's rock sliding.
Oh, watch your feet.
He needs rock sliders. Damn, well, let's just worry about that side of the bank. Or that one. Now that was a drive, wasn't it? Yeah.
So if you're cruising up the power lines track and you're just about to hit Little Red, off to the right in the bushes is this 105 series Toyota Land Cruiser. And it just goes to show, no matter how good your weekend's going, no matter how good you're feeling, this sort of stuff can happen out of nowhere. And I'll tell you what, it's a bit of a shame to see it down there because the 105 series is a pretty nice car.
It smells like arsehole. How do you know what arsehole smells? Because I just poo out in there.
Davo's always the sort of fella to give the hard track a crack, and Little Red is no exception, but this time it's in the wet, so we'll see how he goes. It's a pretty hard track in the best of times. Oh, convincing line.
Body swap. He was gonna do it, wasn't he? Inevitable. It was inevitable. You may as well do it now, Davo.
Hey?
May as well do it now.
I think I've broken 2 nuts already. CV. No, I can't.
Now that was a red hot crack, and I tell you what, that Bundy likes to spend a little bit of time on its side. There's just a time when you gotta back out before you destroy something major like a CV or a front diff, because on a track like this, that can certainly be the case. If you're looking for an absolutely cracking four-wheel drive weekend adventure, you cannot go past the Glasshouse Mountains. Especially if you live in Brisbane, you have literally no excuse not to come out here for a weekend. It's got mud holes, it's got hill climbs, and it's got a good view to boot. You done well, Greg. Those are some fat tail lights and you didn't even do one.
I know, the eBay specials, mate, held up.
It's doing pretty good. And I will say, in the grand scheme of things, it's actually pretty forgiving four-wheel driving, because you don't have huge steep drop-offs where you could drive off the side and absolutely wreck your weekend. And you don't even need the most modded four-wheel drive in the bush to have a good time out here. Just a 2-inch lift or something like that, a set of all-terrains or muddies, you're good as gold. Come out here, choose your own adventure, and I'll tell you what, we might see you on the tracks, we might not, but we probably won't, because there's 7 billion people on this planet and there's only one of me, so you might not. But hey, you never know, it's just the way the world goes, isn't it? Catch you next time on Full Bore.